must engage on Facebook every single day. So 75% of the audience that a funeral home wants to engage is on Facebook daily. So essentially, most funeral homes spend 99% of their advertising budget on 25% of the audience, which really doesn't make any sense. I think it works best when there's transparency. So we have some clients that don't, even though they're running the low end, they don't want any transparency that it's them because they're afraid they're going to upset other families. Transparency is going to work the best because you have to put a face with that brand still. It's still a brand that someone has to trust. You need a face there. So full transparency works best that we've seen from just a perspective of working with funeral homes. No one's in a pre-need mindset. Like, they didn't wake up one day and go, man, I hope I see an ad from a funeral home today. No one's ever said it, never will say it. But when you can engage them and build the transparency like you do with the video, and now there's facial recognition and there's engagement and there's tangible things.
Though, they scroll on if it's not in their face. They're like, okay. And if they want to engage, it's click and then they engage.
It's 100% voluntary.
Yeah.
So the ad budget right off the bat we would use to really build the audience on your page. So we're paying Facebook to show your content to people that live within 10 miles of your funeral home, that are between a certain demographic that you want to engage, and get them actually into the funnel, get them engaging with your content, and then we run the Facebook ads to leverage that into pre-need. If we came out of the gates and just created Facebook ads for pre-need, we're going to feed into the stereotypes that every consumer has about funeral directors, and we believe that it comes down to a transparency issue. And our clients that go, you know what, we're going to be the face of the discount firm and we're going to be the face of the traditional firm, have good success at playing both ends of the market because they can pass families back and forth too. And the traditional funeral home almost funnels a lot of families down that, you know, you want a weekend viewing, great, it's going to cost this much. Yeah. We can't afford that. Well, awesome. Here our sister brand, we'll do 4 hours, but it's going to be on a Wednesday night, not a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, it's just the way that it's going to be. So I think there's absolutely. In my opinion, if you have an extra $1,000, you're going to see more upside spending that with Facebook ads where you can drive leads versus just paying for exclusivity. I make a whole lot more here because we don't have to do anything extra, but at the end of the day, you're going to have more value here with an ad spend.
This is per month.
Per month. On average, a $500 a month Facebook ad budget for leads is producing about $15,000 in pre-need sales. On average. So we can walk you through a case study and show you exactly how we create the ads, the leads that come through, and how they close. In Chicago, where
we're telling your dad that.
I was figuring it out still, but it was before you guys did YouTube.
No, do you remember?
Like, let's do.
No, I was telling your dad this in the car. We were at the Renaissance in Chicago, and we were sitting at round tables.
One Whacker Drive.
Yep, at the Renaissance. We were sitting at these round tables, and you had a mouse.
You know, what we want to talk about in Disrupt Academy, or Disrupt You, what we're going to try to craft a funeral hustle when we travel around. You know, there's typically kind of a theme to a lot of that, and we repeat ourselves a lot, simply because we've got the same way that, you know, well, Abby, perfect example, the same way that we've articulated three times this week, the exact same thing. I had to say it differently, so hopefully she would get it on what we need to be able to run lead ads. That's the same reason that we are creating content saying a lot of the same thing, just in different ways. Because it's super important that we establish that type of rhetoric with
funeral directors, because when they become clients, we've got to then keep that rhetoric going. So if you guys can digest and watch, I'm not trying to be pretentious. I don't think that I'm the smartest guy in the world, and that's why I want you to watch the content we put out. It's really going to be very informational, because it's going to address a lot of the questions and the reasons why we actually driving more business. But what we've failed to address outside of the leads is that the value of funeral homes creating content on social media is just to get more attention. Content absolutely is the best advertising, period. If you look at, I mean, you guys don't get to see kind of like how we market, but we don't market outside of social media. Like, we don't run any ads in any publication. I'm not writing content for other publications. We're not doing any type of distribution with anybody else. I mean, everything, all the eyeballs that we get are from the content that we put out through things that we own, like Connecting Directors, Funeral Nation, Disrupt, all of the content that we put out. And the reason that we suggest things that are completely off the wall, like contests and different campaigns like National Pizza Day or National Pancake Day and all these goofy national days, is simply because of attention, and those topics will, one, be trending, two, there's going to be a level of organic in that and facial recognition because of it's going to be staff members. So, you know, when we suggest that content to clients, they're valuable because, one, they're going to create engagement, and two, that's going to garner attention. If you get the attention, you get the engagement, that builds a relationship. We can leverage that to be able to drive leads. Every single thing that we do goes back to the amount of engagement that we can get. The reason that we focus on organic content is because it's going to get the most meaningful interactions, and that's what's going to be able to allow us to leverage lead ads that are going to convert at a lower cost because the relationship has already been established. Very, very simple. Us engage on Facebook every single day. So 75% of the audience that a funeral home wants to engage is on Facebook daily. So essentially, most funeral homes spend 99% of their advertising budget on 25% of the audience, which really doesn't make any sense. If we lined up 75% of Zanesville in front of any funeral home in this town, the funeral director would never walk out the front door, go past the 75% of people that showed up, and try to go find the 25% that didn't. They would absolutely engage with the 75% that are there, forget the other 25%, who really cares? Yet when they spend marketing dollars, they ignore the 75% and they focus on the 25% that may not engage on Facebook, because that's the biggest pushback we get is, well, you know, our customer, they read the newspaper every single day, and if we're not there, then they aren't going to know we exist. No. Like, go talk to the Times Recorder and see how many subscriptions they've lost, and they're probably losing money. So no one's really reading the newspaper. How many of you have read a newspaper? Like, do you read the newspaper? Do you content out? But at the end of the day, what you're doing is not necessarily for the client, it's for the consumer, and that consumer just lost a father, a mother, an aunt, an uncle, a son, a daughter, whatnot, a best friend. It's pretty real. I mean, it happens every single day. Those people are engaging with the content that we create. So when we're looking at how much is too much time, I don't know. If that lady was sitting right here, would you say, you know what? If I would have worded this differently, it probably would have helped you a lot better, but I don't really have the time. I'm probably never gonna say that. Like, it's a big responsibility, and we don't necessarily get to see the impact that has, but that's okay, because we're set up to make the people that write us the check the superstars, not us. But we impact millions of people every single month, and you know, we touch more people through social media than any other company in the funeral space. It's a big deal. So take pride in that. Know that what you're doing is not just filling a Google Doc with content. It's so much bigger than that. So awesome. Well, it was nice being here with you tonight. See you a little bit tomorrow, maybe Monday, and then we'll see you for a while. right. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for what you do. I'm glad you're all part of the team. I'm glad that we've added 2 new faces